to Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's free. Help make this video podcast go viral by posting this link on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and or on your Twitter page. This video podcast is available in 3 forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. November 10th, 2023 will mark our 32-year anniversary. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard technology. We want to interact with our audience in real time through the chat room during our live podcasts. I want to know if there is anyone on my Facebook friends list or in my social groups that live within the United States of America who knows how to do a professional fundraising. If so, please send me a message to my Facebook inbox. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black grassroots media component. We discuss controversial topics that you wouldn't hear about from the mainstream media. We're committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcast and YouTube channel to help them earn extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. I created a GoFundMe page last April 2022 as a crowdfunding source so that everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups would know exactly where the funds will be going. This will also indicate our progress in getting this film project fully funded and made. Out of 1,788 people on my Facebook friends list, only 5 people have donated to our film project on our GoFundMe page. Black people, African people, we gotta do better. This is for the sake of our children. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group here in America before I cut and run to Africa. At this time, all I can do is news commentary. We host our virtual conferences every last Saturday of the month until we are able to raise the capital to fund our film project. Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins, is a solution-based docudrama which is based on my experience growing up in the inner cities of Chicago and the purpose why I created GRCAM. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney, it's owned by us. We want to get this film in front of 500 million people worldwide. We will offer a 21st century solution both domestically within the United States of America and throughout the diaspora. GRCAM is my gift to Black millennials, Generation Z, and my group members. worldwide. It's my hope that we can eventually create our own black film industry, black hair product industry, and sporting industry. All I have at this time is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. I recommend that if you're serious about working with me and turning my vision and plan for Black America into a reality, then purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with what I'm trying to do in the African American community, then make arrangements with me to come on this podcast so that we can talk about it. I'm using this technology to broadcast my vision and plan to all who will listen. This is my hope that the African immigrant community in America would come forth and work with me first in getting this film project fully funded and made so that we can build Grassroots of Chicago together and making our presence known within the African American community, starting in Chicago. Then expand to 10 African nations. This is for credibility within the African American community, throughout the diaspora, and sending a strong message to the Black world. I don't operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. I reach out to Black America, online and in real life, for the past 31 years. Now my focus is on reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America from the following African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. Stand up and work with me. The sooner we get this film project fully funded and made, the sooner we can build Grassroots of Chicago and expand to Africa, starting in South Africa. Once the proceeds from the docudrama starts pouring in, then I will be in a better position financially to purchase property in Chicago, buy office equipment, and hire qualified Black middle-class professionals and African immigrants within the United States of America. I will run my Christian business the way I run my home, drama-free. The Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours in 10 African nations. We're going to meet people from my African group, Grassroots of Africa. I will bring the best of the diaspora with me to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our people. We will reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from enslavement and colonization. Since Black America / Black Chicago has overlooked and rejected my vision and plan for the past 31 years, my Christian business will be membership-based. I am only responsible for my members. Those who are not part of us, we will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. Once we have a physical building in place, we will hold mandatory orientation for new members and local residents. Everyone must pass our criminal background checks, sign the community pledge, and submit their thumbprints to be placed in our database. We will separate ourselves from con artists, degenerates, off-code Negroes, pedophiles, and urban terrorists. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for our next GRCAM virtual conference, Saturday, September 30th, 2023. Theme: what is the purpose of building Grassroots of Chicago? Where? Facebook Live / StreamYard. Time: 2 p.m. through 3 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time, either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's topic of discussion is as follows. Young sister challenges black voters not to vote for Democrats in 2024. And a recent poll shows majority of Californians do not support cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves. Our first topic, young sister challenges black voters not to vote for Democrats in 2024. I'm not the only person encouraging black voters not to support the Democrats in 2024. I found a video on TikTok of a young sister who goes by the name African Panther 71, who is in so many words saying what I am saying, but she is using foul language to get her point across. If you would like to watch the video clip, then I encourage my listeners to follow me on my Medium page. Look for the exact title of this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. On this platform, we don't condone how a person expresses themselves, just as long as it's not hate speech against others. I hope we can have an opportunity to interview this sister in the near future. Black people have been advised to vote for ballot down or vote blue no matter who. A majority of black voters don't understand this, the issues or a political campaign agenda. I have to admit, when I turned 18, my mother and my godmother encouraged me to vote Democrat because they helped pass the Civil Rights Bill during the 60s. But as I read more and more books about Black America, I learned that the Democrats only passed the Civil Rights Bill because our grandparents were hitting the streets heavy after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. assassination. It was referred to as the Holy Week Uprising, a wave of civil disobedience which spread across the United States following the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on April 4th, 1968. The biggest riots took place in Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Chicago, and Kansas City. I noticed how some black Republicans were trying to do something positive for the African American community. One of them educated me about looking closely at the Democrat policies and how those policies actually harm black people, like the 1994 crime bill, which gave rise to mass incarceration of black people, school to prison pipeline, etc. Over here, we are independent, nonpartisan, and we're not affiliated with anyone. As I mentioned in my revised book, both Democrats and Republicans were created by the white supremacist financial elites to give the illusion that American voters have a choice. Vote blue no matter who is the wrong strategy, especially in this day and age. We as black people have to be more responsible in our voting patterns. There's no excuse. We live in the information age. We have platforms like this one, who's constantly trying to wake up Black America. Black Americans can't afford to vote blue no matter who anymore. On this platform and in my social groups, we educate our listeners and members about politics, the name of the person running for office, what their ballotpedia says, their political website, and inform our listeners and members about their track records and what they have done for the African American community. When we see illegal immigrants flooding the border, it's our fault because 90% of black vote goes to Democrats, and we know Democrats support open borders and sanctuary cities. The Obama administration created the DACA program, and he called the children of illegal immigrants, quote, dreamers. Using the term Dr. King Jr. was talking about in his speech about descendants of American slaves and flipping the script for illegal immigrants and their children, calling them the dreamers, quote unquote. Those people chose to come here after everything was built. Our ancestors were forced to come here against their will and work for free for 246 years, plus 100 years of Jim Crow, convict leasing, institutionalized racism and discrimination. I have a problem with Obama disrespecting our ancestors by calling other groups, quote unquote, dreamers, while the real dreamers are denied reparations. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Our second topic. A recent poll shows a majority of Californians does not support cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves. I found an article from LA Times entitled, quote, "New polls find California voters resoundingly oppose cash reparations for slavery," unquote. If you would like to read the full article, then I encourage my listeners to follow me on my Medium page. Look for the exact title of this presentation. Then click on the topic and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, the article talked about a recent poll in California about their opinion on cash payment reparations for Black Americans who reside in California. This is the most thorough we've been in terms of pushing the reparation conversation in the history of this country. Many groups eventually fizzled out after pushback from the public. We're standing our ground. We want what's owed to us now. We also have not allowed other groups to come in and infiltrate our message. I would like to advise my listeners to review an article from the Public Policy Institute of California entitled, quote, "California Voter and Party Profiles," unquote. It breaks down the data based on race. For example, in California, whites make up 52% of voters, Latino make up 25% of voters, Asians make up 16% of voters, and Black make up 6% of voters. They are politically irrelevant. The question is, why did Governor Gavin Newsom created a reparation task force commission when Black people clearly don't have the numbers to push anything? I believe it was done to get Black people across America to consider voting for the Democrats. They want to keep Black people on the Democrat plantation. Reparation is the last fight for Black people in America. We're not going to continue playing that HR 40 game. We know that the Democrats are against reparations. They don't want Black Americans to get restitution for what has happened to our ancestors in this country. According to the article, a majority of Democrats in California are against cash payment reparations. The Reparation Task Force Commission gave a detailed report about why reparations is justified. Notice they did not do a poll about how Americans feel about their tax dollars going towards paying for illegal migrants or the billions of dollars spent on Ukraine. The majority of the money will go back into the American economy. Black Americans have to pay close attention about what the Democrats in California are going to do for Black Californians. The Democrats said they will look at this in 2024. If they do nothing, then there should be political punishment on a national level. A lot of Americans across the country are not in favor of all these illegal migrants being dumped in our cities, but these Black mayors are allowing it anyway. We're talking about a debt that is owed to descendants of American slaves. Family, Don't allow anyone to pressure you to accept a program over cash payments because those programs are rigged. We're dealing with that now as far as getting resources allocated to our group. There's millions of dollars earmarked from all these corporations, private companies, and government agencies that's supposed to give resources to so-called marginalized groups, but they are rigged so black organizations can't get them. The polls from the LA Times said 60% of voters thought it was unfair to ask today's taxpayers to pay for the wrongs committed in the past, and it also said it's not fair to single out one group for reparations when religious groups have been wronged in the past, according to 53% of the people in California. First, I would say people who have come to the United States of America have to pay the price because they chose to come here. Any place you enter, you have to follow the rules of the land. This is your reparations for being here. Native Americans and Japanese Americans were compensated for the wrongs that took place for their groups. The Jews were compensated for their group by the German government. When I investigated the Native Americans Claim Commission in 1969, the Indian tribes filed claim to the government. It was for land, but that land converted to cash payments. I believe we should have black attorneys from each state to file claims on our behalf to the federal government and state government in order for us to get our reparations. In addition, we need to file a class action lawsuit against the Catholic Church, institutions, and corporations that have traces of slave money. They all have benefited from slave money. Once we're able to build Grassroots of Chicago, it will be more than just a new business endeavor. It will also be a new system created by African Americans, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Caribbeans. Then we will expand it to 10 African nations to replicate this Christian business. We don't need all these other groups. They're not doing anything for us anyway. We don't benefit from these other groups. We're the only people with a real legitimate grievance claim. This is why they tried to piggyback off our struggle. We have to stop being afraid to get resources that we're supposed to get. We're supposed to get resources because we've been the most marginalized. These illegal immigrants are getting handouts left and right. Stop voting for the Democrats unless they cut the check first. Then we will vote for them. Over here, we're trying to get the younger generation on point by putting our message out here. We have to start using these federal complaints when these corporations have certain earmarks that's allocated by the state or city, and they're systematically excluding us from them. We have to call that out. This is how we all get on code. The white supremacist financial elites divided us up after the civil rights era based on social class, religion, and political affiliation. We need our black middle class professionals to assist us in making sure that this business will be effective and successful for years to come. This is why I am pushing to get this film project fully funded and made so that we can build Grassroots Chicago and move from behind a computer. Then we can hold live events and network with each other in person rather than behind a computer. The white supremacist financial elites are weaponizing these immigrants against us by putting these people in position of power so that they can gatekeep certain industries for their people while the resources for our people are going to them. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support us. on our PayPal page, purchasing items from our virtual store, purchasing my revised book, or sending a direct donation through our GoFundMe page. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this video podcast in the comment section. If you are listening to this audio podcast on Anchor or Spotify, just click on the YouTube icon and select the About section. Then scroll down to links. Peace and blessings.